Well, hey, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Young Adult Edition. We are so excited to see you here today. We're talking all about Bookish Podcast 101, everything you need to know about what goes into the behind the scenes of creating a bookish podcast. I am joined here on Young Adult Edition by my fantastic co-host, Amber R. Duell. How are you, Amber?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm good. Excited to hang out, talk all about podcasts today, and a little bit jealous of our fabulous other co-host who is on vacation in Disney today.
She looks like she's having so much fun in the pictures.
I know, guys. Make sure you're watching Elle's Instagram story. She's given all sorts of behind the scenes on Disney over there for all of the fun. Danielle is here joining us. Hello. We are excited to see all of you. We're talking all about podcasts today. And before we jump in, we are going to be talking about book world news. We're going to be talking all about new releases. And we've got a brand new feature here on Young Adult Edition. Every single week, we're doing a brand new physical giveaway. And the more you comment, the more likely you are to win. So, Amber, what is today's giveaway?
Today we have Pricked by Scott Mooney, which is a rent-controlled magical story set in New York. And it's paperback, which looks amazing.
So if you want to win today's copy of Pricked, you have to comment a lot. This is going to be open for 24 hours after today's episode. So tomorrow we will be letting you know who has won. And then our fabulous author, Scott, will be sending out his copy of his book to you today. And we're really excited to jump in on this one. Everything is good and exciting today. We're happy to get started. So the more you comment, the more likely you are to win. Danielle says, ooh, I love giveaways. Amber, are you a fan of giveaways?
Oh, yes. I never win them, but.
Exactly. All right. We're going to jump in. It's been pretty quiet in the book world today, but if you have book world news we need to be talking about, go ahead and let us know. We would love to get that in the conversation for our upcoming weeks. If you're an author or a bookish person who is next to the author world, so we are adjacent to the author world, we would love for you to do a giveaway with us here at Young Adult Edition. Go ahead and reach out and tell us you want to give away a set of bookmarks, or you want to give away some really cool book swag, or you want to give away a copy of your book. We would love to get you set up with an episode of Young Adult Edition. And we've got some really great new book releases today. Let's take a look at what we've got. All right, every single week, our new book releases are brought to you by @theQTBibliophile over on Instagram and on Facebook. Every single week, she is announcing the brand new releases in the world of YA, NA, and paranormal romance. You can check her out for all of the details there. And these are the fantastic YA books that are coming out this week. Let us know, which ones are you most excited for? And if you are an author who has a book coming out in the next couple of weeks, go ahead and let us know so we can make sure that we get you on our list as well. Connie, we are excited that you are here and loving on our giveaway today. Danielle says, I love all the new to me authors I learn about. And Melanie is saying, good morning. Good morning. We are excited to see you guys. This is super fun for us to hang out with you. We are going to jump in and talk all about today's topic. We are discussing Bookish Podcasts today. And if you want to see the new releases, make sure you are coming on over to youngadultedition.com/new-releases for all of the new book releases, plus a full list of everything coming out this week in the YA world. You can come hang out with us at youngadultedition.com/news for all of the breaking book world news every single week. All right. Let's dive in. We're talking all about Bookish Podcasts today. And you guys know we're super excited because we are launching this coming weekend our brand new Young Adult Edition spin-off podcast called Hey, I'm Writing. This is coming out every single Saturday. We're going to be chatting about it today, as well as developing Bookish Podcasts. Looking for my pretty picture of Hey, I'm Writing. Here we go. There we go. We got it. You can come check out more at heyimwriting.com. Let's take a look at the behind the scenes of how this is working. And I'm seeing the comments come in, so give us all the love over there. All right, let's dive in and let's talk about what is most important when it comes to a bookish podcast. So the very first thing that comes to it when you are creating a bookish podcast is picking a topic. And that is something that can be pretty dang hard. So guys, if you were going to listen to a bookish podcast, what topic would you like to hear it on? Amber, do you listen to bookish podcasts a lot?
I do. I like to have just like noise when I'm working or cleaning the house. So it's perfect because I can just put one on and go.
I'm a fan of podcasts. I don't listen to as many bookish ones, but I love being able to listen to it on the go, which is really, really nice. And I know when you pick a topic, if you are picking a topic, you do have to kind of like pick a very specific area. So maybe it's about being a writer, or maybe it's about being a marketer. Maybe it is about fangirling over your favorite book. So when we were planning our spin-off podcast for Young Adult Edition, we definitely had to sit down and think about what we wanted to do. And so for Hey, I'm Writing, we're actually kind of taking a look behind the scenes of the publishing curtain for people who are book readers or people just getting into the book world who maybe don't know what's going on behind the scenes of the publishing world. So we've got great authors, we've got some great people hanging out with us, and we're taking a look at the messier side of publishing that we don't typically talk about, and the origin stories from your favorite authors, which I think is really cool. Danielle's in the comments. She's saying, I was hoping I deleted that comment before you saw it. Oh, the typo at the end. That's okay. That's okay. We're good. All good. Yes. So lots of love in the comments. Keep leaving those comment love because we are giving away fun, fabulous things today. So Amber, if you were going to create your own podcast, how would you go about creating your topic? What do you think you would do for that?
Oh, geez. Well, I think you have to like have a little niche that you have a lot of topics you can pick from. So I would probably do something from the bookish world. Gosh, maybe like how-tos, as opposed to, you know, from the publishing side of things, more of a writer's sort of podcast is what I would do.
Nice. Guys, if you want to coerce Amber into doing this podcast, let us know in the comments.
No.
We are taking a look behind the scenes of how we created Hey, I'm Writing, the Young Adult Edition podcast, which launches this Saturday, guys, on all of the major streaming platforms. We're kind of breaking down what went into creating this podcast. We've got some incredible guests coming on, amazing authors that you guys know and love, and people you have not met yet on Young Adult Edition. So I think you guys are really going to like this podcast. And aside from picking a topic, the next most important thing that you can be doing is creating your channel art. So we did take a look at our channel art just a moment ago for Hey, I'm Writing. And I think one of the most important things is to remember it's in a tiny thumbnail size. So whatever you do, your title has to be very clear and represented very, very well on your artwork. And I'm a big fan of colors. So for Young Adult Edition, we wanted to make sure that we did something bright and colorful that matched our branding for our spinoff podcast. So we went very purple, very pink, very blue, and we created our fabulous channel art for Hey, I'm Writing.
And the sparkles.
Yes, the sparkles. We love the sparkles. With podcasts, do you kind of lean toward like the white based with writing and a person on it, or do you kind of like those more colorful thumbnails?
I like the more colorful ones because it makes, like, this is not true necessarily, but it makes me think that it's going to be a more fun and exciting podcast as opposed to like something just boring and educational, unless that's your thing and then it's not boring for you. But
I'm over here like I love the educational. Those are the podcasts I listen to. Like I have exactly one fun podcast and the rest of them are like business, marketing, all the things I teach in my social media strategy life. But I think you're right. Like the brighter colors tend to be those more like fun, entertaining type podcasts. And then the more business-like ones are the more business-like ones and a little bit less of a energy level, I think.
Yeah. So it like really gives you like what their brand is, which is why it's important to have one that matches.
Yeah. I think channel art is really important, especially with your branding, because that kind of lures people in and tells them what to expect. So I kind of like that perspective on what we're doing with channel art. And we are kind of taking a look behind the scenes at how we created Hey, I'm Writing, the spin-off of Young Adult Edition in podcast form. Once you've got your topic picked, you've got your channel art handled, you then need to figure out your equipment. And this is kind of the fun part for me because I'm a little bit of a tech nerd. So Amber, what typically would you think goes into a podcast in terms of equipment?
I would think a microphone and maybe headphones. And if you really want to get fancy, maybe some soundproofing.
Oh, you're all fancy here. I like it. You are right. A microphone is super important. We film the live shows without using microphones in most cases because the audio from our computers picks it up fairly well. However, with a podcast, it's very, very different. You have to have a different quality of audio. You can't have all the fuzzy, crackly things in the background, and there's like a lot that goes into processing a podcast. So having a good microphone is really important. I'm going to give you guys a look at my microphone. It's all fancy over here. And I do, for me, when I'm recording, oh, there you go. Now you can see my face. When I'm recording, I'm actually using a Blue Yeti mic, and it's super fun and super big. I've got my, I forgot the name of it. This nice little thing up here is a contraption that kind of makes it bounce a little bit so that if I accidentally tap my desk or something, it does not pick that up. I've got a boom mic here, which is pretty cool. I actually learned, if you guys are getting into podcasting, they have the ones that clamp onto your desk. But I found that there's actually this really cool weighted thing of a boom mic. And it's for drummers, actually. So it picks up the sound of the drums when you're in a band or something. And it's really heavy, and it just sits right on my desk. And then I can move it around, unlike the clamp, which was actually, I have a table that I use as a desk. It was actually breaking my table. So I'm really, really glad for this boom mic right now. So we've got the microphone. We've got the thing. Oh my gosh, I can't remember the name of it. I literally just got this. One would think I would know, but no. And then I do use headphones because you need to be able to test the audio, hear what you're saying, hear what your guest is saying, and then not have the feedback. So in a lot of cases, you will get feedback and you'll get duplicates of people talking if you don't have a set of headphones on. So for me, I have this nice wired set of headphones, which is actually wrapped around my stand right now. And I put these babies on. And that way I can hear people without interfering with my audio on that one. Soundproofing is something I do use if I'm doing a solo show. I can't really use it if I'm doing a guest episode because it would block my video. And this is a bonus for you guys, we do record in video our podcast episodes. So we will be able to show you clips of some of the really great guests that we have on the show. And then, of course, we've got editing equipment and processing equipment, which we're going to get to in just a few minutes. So, guys, let us know. Did you know how much equipment goes into a podcast? We would love to hear from you guys. Amber was pretty on the money with what we were talking about in terms of those things. So, good guesses there. Connie is saying, I love the covers from our books that are coming out this week. Danielle is saying, dang, that's impressive. I think she's talking about my fancy microphone. And all the fun there. So guys, let us know. Are you loving on my equipment? Because I am. I'm a tech nerd. Let me know, guys. Let me know. Let's talk about fun, fancy things. And if you've got questions for us, we would love to get those answered for you. Go ahead and drop those down below. We're going to get as many answers as possible. Remember, for the next 24 hours, you have the ability to win a copy of Scott Mooney's Pricks simply by leaving us some comment love. All right. The next step after you handle your equipment is to actually find your guests. So Amber, let's talk about finding guests. You and I have both been guests on podcasts before. So how do people reach you, and how do you feel people should be reaching out to guests for their podcasts?
To reach me, just email, and I'll be more than happy to hop on there. But yeah, I mean, I feel like most authors and, people in the community would be up for it. So go on their website, check out their books so that you can maybe tailor the topic to, that author or professional, and just reach out and be like, hey, I know you have, this book. Would you like to do a podcast on XYZ kind of thing?
And to add on that, one of the most important things when I am reached out to and when I'm reaching out to people is to be very specific about what the episode is going to be about. So if you are running a podcast, I would email them and have a very specific set of bullet points of what you do and do not do on your show, how the show runs, and then what your topic is going to be about. Because a lot of us have different books or different things that we do. And so if you were going to say, try to get Amber on your show, you would want to make sure that you reach out and say, hey, I know you've got a bunch of books. I have a podcast. I would love to have you on about this specific book for this specific reason, so that she knows what she's getting into before she says yes or no. Sometimes if you're vague about things, people will just flat out say no. So if you are going to an author or to a publisher or to an agent or to a PR person for someone, and you can very clearly say what that episode is about and what that person will be discussing, you are much more likely to get a yes on that. And so I love finding people through social media. I love going to their websites and talking to them. I love being on other live broadcasts and then reaching out to them later on. So great ways to find guests for your shows involve you doing a little bit of legwork and knowing your stuff before you reach out to the person and just kind of blanket ask them to come and join you. If you've got tips for getting people on your shows, go ahead and let us know. We would love to hear from you with your ideas today. Once you've got your guests, the next thing to do is record your episodes. So Amber, any ideas how we do that?
No.
That's so funny.
You're the pro in that area.
I am. Well, when it comes to recording episodes for the podcast, I make sure I set it up with my person in advance if I do have people recording with me. Otherwise, I can do it on my own schedule, which is super nice. And you can use a couple of different programs. So you have the ability to use some paid programs, which I actually do. Well, yes, I do. Yes, I do use paid programs, but not the ones you think. So there are specific ones where you can record like a Skype conversation. There's stuff if you have people in the studio with you or in that location with you, you can just record it on QuickTime, or you can record it on Audacity. You can record it on GarageBand. For me, I actually do it through our live streaming platform. So what we're using right now to come to you, I bring my guests on the show here, and then I can pull the audio from that, which is really, really nice, and also get the live streaming. So if you are a fan of doing that, you can use BeLive to do that, which is the program I use for this one. But it's nice. The difference, do you know the difference between a live stream, Amber, and a podcast? Because I've learned there's one very big difference.
Oh, I'm going to say no, because if you had to learn it, then I sure as heck don't know.
It's not a techie thing. It's a difference in the way that things are recorded and things are done. And it's because one is live stream and one is not actually seen by anybody. Any guesses?
No.
Well, with a live stream, we have to keep going. If you stumble, if you have an issue, you just got to keep going. If somebody gets off track, you got to bring it back on track. With the podcast, nobody's watching you and you have the ability to edit it. So if you have an issue, if you stumble over a word, if you forget what you're saying, if you need to have a conversation outside of what you're doing, you can stop and then keep going.
I like that.
Right? I discovered it as I was recording episodes with people that we could just like stop and start going. Now, I've also learned I don't like doing that. That is not a fun thing to do, because then you have to go back and edit the episode. And if you're recording for a very long time and then you have to go back and edit for a very long time, that literally doubles your amount of time or more. So I don't actually recommend doing that. If you can keep it nice and steady, do that instead. But you do have the ability to stop and go, and then you can edit it after, which actually brings us to our next point, editing the episodes. Danielle's in the comments saying editing is a blessing. LOL. Yes. So to edit episodes, you can actually use programs like Audacity. You can use GarageBand, and then you just clip it up and clip things out. And there's no video, so it's not like it's glitchy video. You actually get to just put the audio out. It's super, super nice. Like I said, it does, if you are editing things, it does like double your time. So whereas a live broadcast could maybe run for an hour, it's just an hour of your time. The podcast episode is an hour. You're recording, and then you're editing, and then you're processing. Like, it's a lot of extra work to kind of clip things up and change things. So Amber, knowing that, do you feel like you're more of a fan of these live streams, or do you feel like you're like,
yes, please? Like, on one hand, I have to be completely on topic. Yeah, we all know me. And then on the other hand,
Yeah, I'm all about saving time and getting as much packed in as possible. So while I'm loving this podcast, I'm also now starting to run things a little bit differently now that I've recorded a bunch of episodes. And that's another thing about podcasts. I can actually record a bunch of them and then just release them. So at this point, I actually have the first, 10 episodes recorded and ready to go. And they start to release on Saturday. Now, this Saturday, you're actually going to have access to 3 episodes and our intro. So you get our intro, you get our first 3 episodes. I believe it's a guest and then a behind the scenes episode and then another guest, I think. I should actually check my schedule. But all of those will be out on Sunday. And then after that point, it's going to be one a week, every week for the rest of our lives. It's going to be so much fun. We've got some really great guests hanging out with us on this podcast. We're hanging out with Sarah K.L. Wilson. We've got, oh, wow, I literally just blanked on all that because I was thinking about our Young Adult Edition episode people coming up. We've got KB Ann, J.M. Sullivan. We've got... Scarlett Cole is hanging out with us. All sorts of fabulous people are coming on this show, and they're already recorded and done and ready to go, and they will be coming out over the course of the next couple of weeks. So shout out, which authors would you like to see on Hey, I'm Writing the Young Adult Edition podcast spin-off? Let us know. And now we're going to get into the techie side. You thought we were already in the techie side, didn't you?
I'm just going to hide over here in my little... Oh my gosh. I live under a rock when it comes to this.
I had to learn a lot to do our podcast. And so once you've got your podcast recorded and you've got it edited and you're ready to go, you then have to take the sound files and actually host them somewhere. So it's interesting because you have to decide where you want to host them. You can host them on your own personal website, but then anytime that someone is listening to it, that is kind of taking up your space on your website. So you can also host them on different platforms, and you can use something like an aggregator to send them out. So for those of you who are authors in the book world and you understand what an aggregator is, that's kind of like what Draft to Digital is, where you put it in one program and it kicks it out to iBooks and to Barnes and Noble and to Kobo and like all those different places. So they have those for podcasters as well, which is something I'm taking advantage of with Hey, I'm Writing. We are using Anchor to kick that out to people. And then we can also put it up on our website. So you have to figure out where you want to host that podcast, and then that will kick it out to all the places. Or you can do it individually, which is also something you can do with your books, going to each individual distributor and putting it out in the world. And once you have the techie side of this handled, then you have to figure out your marketing plan. And that starts with your website and social media. And this is where Amber can come back into the conversation because she knows social media.
Oh, goodness.
So let's talk a little bit about social media and your website. We know that websites are so important for you to have for every business that you own. Amber may or may not be starting a new website that we're going to be talking about soon. Little hint, Amber, little hint.
Embroidery.
Yes. So stay tuned. We're going to let you guys know more about that one in the next couple of weeks as that launches. And we know that this is really important to have for your podcast as well. So we do have a website. And for our podcast, the social media is actually the Young Adult Edition social media because it is a spin-off of it. So Hey, I'm Writing does not have its own unique social media pages. It is off of Young Adult Edition. And we are going to be putting out episodes there. We're going to be doing behind the scenes. We're going to be putting clips of some of our really cool guests. There's all sorts of fun things that we are doing over there. And we're building out the website as well so that we can get more guests to come on the show. And then we have to really jump in and market the show. So Amber, as someone who markets a live stream talk show, where do you like marketing?
I personally favor Twitter and Instagram. One is, pictures, and then the other one is the words to me. So it's like if you put them together, you get the full thing. But yeah, I favor those two. Instagram gets people because it's very you can I don't know what the words I'm trying to say. Eye-catching, you can pull them in an instant. They see something, they're like, oh, what's this? And then you check it out. And Twitter is just where I've, I guess, found my community. So I think that's important too, is to find, people that like what you're putting out and, get in with the other podcasters.
Meanwhile, I'm over here living in Instagram and Facebook land. I love my Facebook. You guys know I love hanging out on my Facebook with my bots and my games and my fun, fabulous things that I'm doing over there. So marketing is really, really important when it comes to your podcast. And guys, we're going to need your help because this weekend we are launching the Hey, I'm Writing podcast. little side note, I did have to check the tech. So our intro episode is up right now. So if you run over to anywhere that you can listen to podcasts, you can actually hear me babbling about our show. But the first 3 episodes launch on Saturday, which we're really excited about. And you can check it out because we have all these really great, amazing authors hanging out with us, telling us their origin stories, giving us some great advice. If you are a new writer, if you're an aspiring author, if you are a book lover who wants to see behind the scenes of how your books were created, this is the podcast for you guys. And if you just want to come and talk about publishing world stuff, if you're an established author like us, we would love to have you guys too. All sorts of fun, fabulous behind the scenes within this podcast. And if you are an author who would like to come on the show, go ahead and let us know. We are launching that and recording new podcasts right now. Really excited about this. We're actually, we just got some really cool people signed up to do that, and we're getting those episodes recorded in the not too distant future, and we would love to have you guys as well. If you've got questions about podcasts, we want to hear from you. Go ahead and reach out. Let us know. Connie's in the comments saying, I had a vague idea of the equipment, but no idea how big. Let me tell you, you don't need to have as fancy equipment as me if you are launching into a podcast, which I highly recommend you do. It is a really fun thing to do and a great way to build up a community, but you do not need quite the extent that I have. I have this to record my courses that I do over in my social media strategy life. And so it translated over to my podcast really, really well. I do recommend the Blue Yeti mics, but I also have Yeti Snowball mics, which are smaller. They actually look like a snowball. It's kind of cool, but they're a lot cheaper, and you can do fun things with them. There are other microphones as well. I know that there are some like super expensive ones. This baby runs, I think it's under 150, and if you catch it for like Black Friday, you can get it for like 89. So it's actually very cost effective for your podcast. My whole setup, I don't know, I probably have everything for under like $300 with all of my gear and my sound booth and my fun stuff. And these were all like Christmas presents. So I don't even have to pay for them. I'm just saying, if you guys are planning for upcoming events, this is the way to do it. But there are a lot of different options, and you definitely want to test what you're doing as well so that you know if your microphone is working. Or if it's not, you don't have to be this fancy, and you can build yourself up to being this fancy. So if it's something you want to jump into, now is a great time to do it. Podcasting is like really, really big right now. So if you want to get in, now's a great time for that. And if you are starting a podcast, all I'm saying is Amber and I volunteer to be guests. And if you need help, I will help you because I am working my way through it right now. You can come along on the journey as well. Danielle is saying editing is a blessing. Danielle also says, I prefer the live streams because of the audience participation, but podcasts are cool too. Me too, girl. Me too. And the nice thing is we've had a lot of requests for podcasts with Young Adult Edition because people want to take us on the go. People are showing up for the live streams, but they do want to take us while they're driving, while they're working out, while they're whatever. They like to take those along with them. So we have jumped in and done the spin-off of that as well. Connie is saying, I personally like videos, but I would love to give a bookish podcast a try. Very nice. Very nice. We love all of the Bookish Podcast love, and we're excited to see how Hey, I'm Writing goes. But we're not quite done yet because we do have some more behind the scenes for you when it comes to doing cool things in the book world. So next week, we're actually going to be talking about a brand new kind of a spin-off topic on this one. We're talking all about how to make a bookish YouTube channel. So if you guys are fans of BookTube, hands up. Amber, are you a fan of BookTube?
Yes.
Amber's very much a fan of BookTube.
I love the rant videos, which...
Yeah. I feel like that would be like your call. Like, you just like to sit and listen to people have
I get my popcorn. You go on.
Next week's going to be a fun episode as we talk all about the different types of BookTube channels, how you can get into creating your own BookTube channel, and some other cool behind the scenes. You guys know I've actually been teaching on creating BookTube channels for a lot of years now, and we've seen a lot of really cool people do amazing things over on YouTube. We're breaking down what you guys need to know if you're starting your own channel and talking about the behind the scenes of how we've created our own BookTube channels as well. So join us next week live right here at 10 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Pacific every single Monday on facebook.com/Young Adult Edition. And if you've got an author you would like to see on the show, go ahead and let us know. We're booking in new people right now. We've got some big, huge, giant names coming to the show soon. We're actually setting up times for them right now. And you guys are not going to want to miss this because we made some fun connections over the last couple of months. We're bringing them all to you guys. So go ahead and let us know who you would love to see on the show. And come back every single Monday at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time right here on facebook.com/Young Adult Edition for more. Thanks so much for joining us, guys. Before we go, Amber, where can everybody find you?
My website is amberrduel.com. I'm on Facebook, Amber R. Duel Author, Twitter, Amber R_Duel, and Instagram, Amber R. Duel.
Fantastic. And you can come hang out with me, camrobinsonbooks.com, where world portals are open right now with fun behind the scenes. Plus, we've got some really cool stuff coming up in the next couple of weeks as we gear up for MerMagicCon and for PennCon Charleston at the end of February. Big things are happening at both of these conventions. We cannot wait to see you. We're also going to be giving some exclusives over the next couple of weeks because I'm debuting some stuff at some of these things, but I'm going to tell you guys first, so stay tuned because big surprises are coming. We're really very excited for this. And of course, you can hang out at KM Robinson Books on social media. I would love to hear from you guys. Please reach out. And if you've got questions or comments about any of our books, we are recording videos right now answering fan questions. So go ahead and drop those in our personal DMs. We would love to hear from you guys. We will see you next week for our brand new episode of Young Adult Edition right here on facebook.com/Young Adult Edition. Thanks so much for joining us. We'll see you again next time. Until then, have a great day and stay inspired. Bye-bye.